What's up, Yugioh-tubers? This is the RJB0 coming at you on Wednesday, April the 4th. So for today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Wisdom of the Day, let's talk about slow and steady wins the race? That can't be it. Because fast is what wins you duels, isn't it? That's why Dark World won at YCS Long Beach. It was the fastest deck there was and it could recover from it. Fast has to be what's going to win you the game. But, from a different perspective, couldn't it be that if you're in a really bad situation, playing slowly could win you the game? Because people complain a lot about slow players. I know that your Yu-Gi-Oh! Channel did a segment about it. A lot of other people have done it, and they talk about how a slow player must be thinking about what they're going to have for lunch or whatever. But really, if you're in a really tight spot, or you need to make a play, or just in general, like especially if you're unfamiliar with your deck, playing slowly and really being present in the game can be what wins you the game, because it can prevent you from missing really good opportunities or really good options that you didn't see because you were just playing lightning fast. It could give you just a generally better grasp of the situation, and occasionally you'll miss something that could be really devastating to your play, like within card text or something. So yes, playing slowly in certain situations can actually win you games. Also, once again, overextension is the bugaboo of the game. It's like the tortoise and the hare. That's why I'm thinking about that, is because that's where that phrase came from, where you just run off on your opponent and you're just like all over the field with monsters and stuff like that. You leave yourself with no cards and you sit there and you're like, oh, I'm fine, there's nothing they could do against me. And then they dark hole and you're screwed. So yeah, another situation where slow and steady wins the game. However, to punctuate the points I've made in this video, there is a 5-step thinking process that I use when I'm in a really bad situation in the game, because I get distracted really easily, and if I'm playing quickly, I'm going to miss things. That if, you're too pro to listen to, quit this video and go on with your lives, but bear with me for a second for those of you who are interested in this. So, 5-step process. First, you need to think about what you need to do at this turn. Do you need to clear the field? Is there a card you need to get rid of on your opponent's side of the field? Are you going to try an OTK? What's up? Second, what cards can achieve that goal? What resources do you have in your deck, in the graveyard, in your hand, on the field that can achieve that? Third, what can your opponent do to stop it? Do they have back row that you need to worry about? Could they have a Gores in their hand that they can use to stop your OTK? And then fourth, what cards can you use to get to that card that will achieve your goal and prevent your opponent from doing those, moves that will hinder your play? And then fifth, what are you going to do after this happens? If your play goes through, how will you follow up with it? How will you make sure that your opponent won't come right back from it later? Or if your play didn't go through, how can you compensate? If you need a turn to set up your play, how will you do that? So there you go. And for an example, this is something that actually happened to me about a year ago. It must have been more than that. But I was playing X-Sabers, and my opponent was playing Dragoonides, and we just got into sudden death. And I had a Call of the Haunted face down. He had a Scrap Iron Scarecrow face down. And we were both top decking. And I had a giant rat in my graveyard, and the rest was spell and traps because I had gotten a terrible hand that game. I draw into an Effect Veiler. And I think, okay, I suppose I can just sit on this Call of the Haunted, and if he tries to go into Legionnaire next turn, I can Veiler it and then activate Call and defend with my giant rat. I didn't really think about that, though. And the next turn, he drew into ducks, and even if I Veilered, he would have run over my, my giant rat and I would have lost the game, which I did. If I had thought about it using this 5-step process, what could have gone better? Well, first, what was my goal? My goal was to end the turn with more life points than my opponent. That was my ultimate goal. Second, I needed to think about how I could achieve that. Well, I had any number of cards in my deck that can attack for 100 or more. Third, though, what did he have to stop me? Was that Scrap Iron Scarecrow. That was going to prevent me from attacking, and I didn't have a field, so I only had one monster to attack with. So I couldn't attack to deal that damage. So that was a problem. However, what I could have done, what cards could have gotten past that, are cards that didn't require me to attack to end up with more life points than my opponent, and I had one of those. We call it Magical Android. I could have Call the Haunted, my giant rat, normal summoned Veiler, which is a tuner, synced for 5, gone for that Magical Android, ended my turn, the game would have been over. So that's process. If you really need to slow down and think things through and you're in a bad situation, that process can win you games. So until my next video, remember to subscribe and comment and rate and all those fun things, and watch my other videos, and play slower than you think you need to. This is the RJB0 signing out.